working with the Australian environment, we've actually developed a really effective vineyard management system that produces really great wine. We also use native plant species to help us provide habitat and food source for beneficial insects. We've also managed to incorporate a lot of our native species, so we've got more of an Australian feel about our vineyards.
In 2009, Taylor's Wines had just completed life cycle analysis on our 80 acres range for carbon neutrality. And we thought to ourselves, how could we work with those learnings and spread them out to the greater community? We formulated a community group. We started in Auburn, had another project in Watervale, also on Martindale Hall land holdings, where we sought to get out some of the noxious weed and growth and replant with native vegetation. It's been great for the community, it's got people together, and we've had great results. The revegetation has taken off and we're getting a lot of bird life and animal life back to the area and opening up corridors of native vegetation.
The irrigation infrastructure upgrade that we undertook here on our Scotts Creek vineyards was about automation. We automated our pumping system, our irrigation system, so we could operate things remotely. We can now choose to irrigate an individual patch or valve at a time, which means we can now separate varieties with our irrigation patterns. Rather than having to irrigate the whole vineyard as one, we've been able to return about 240 megalitres of water to the environment each year. We can really see the difference that we've had on that wetland environment with our new irrigation system and practices.
We've got about 80 hectares of floodplain at Markarenka in the Riverland. It's a very significant environmental asset. So in 2006 we were in the middle of the millennium drought, and as a consequence the floodplains along the River Murray were suffering. A lot of the old trees on those floodplains were dying. The South Australian Murray-Darling Basin Natural Resources Management Board came to us wanting to do a watering event to replicate a flooding event at Markarenka, and we chose to become involved and subsequently donated some water. So in 2011 we chose to donate some more water to the project, and it was applied through drip irrigation, which isn't a traditional way of watering trees out in the wild. So it was really some thinking out of the box.
Yalumba worked closely with Paul Australia to innovate the current crossflow technology so that we could modify it to work with high solid lees wine recovery. That development happened over a couple of years with a trial unit and then led to us purchasing a fully functional unit for our production. So the result of the crossflow filter, the lees crossflow, is that we can actually reduce our perlite usage, and previously we were probably purchasing about 200 tonnes of perlite per year. After we filtered the lees out, that'd double in volume to around 400 tonnes, and now we're down to around 50 tonnes of perlite a year. So we've reduced our wastage there by about 3/4.
We've innovated a process on site to recycle as much as we possibly can. Since 2002, we've increased our recycling rates from 30% to 97% in 2016. We separate things as much as we possibly can. Compacting our waste is a method that we've used to try and keep everything in one spot. It's a method of allowing us to stack up our recycling and minimise the amount of transport that we need to get it to the recycler. Initially there were things that we couldn't recycle, but we kept going until we could find options that did work. The efforts we've put in over the years has reduced our impact on the environment and reduced cost to the company.
We made a significant commitment to energy efficiency in 2014, and the results were immediate. In that first year, we reduced our carbon emissions by 60%. We also reduced our electricity consumption by around 50%, which translated into a cost saving of just under $50,000. We installed a 100 kilowatt solar system. We also upgraded our refrigeration system. The new refrigeration plant consumes about 60% less electricity than the old one. So for us, it was all about not only improving our energy efficiency, but also reducing both direct and indirect carbon emissions.
A diverse range of projects has been introduced that has resulted in a reduction of 8,500 tonnes of carbon. The most significant project was lightweighting of glass, and that's resulted in a reduction of 7,500 tonnes of carbon. We've introduced solar panels at 2 locations in our operations, and this has resulted in a reduction of 250 tonnes of carbon annually. The review of energy use and refrigeration in the warehouse and the introduction of rapid raised doors and light sensors, etc., has resulted in significant reduction of over 80 tonnes of carbon annually.